Hello guys, welcome back to the Training Basket YouTube channel. If you guys are joining us for the first time, we are thrilled to have you here. And for our subscribers, it's good to see you again. In this video, we'll dive into variables, how to take an input from user, and data types. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced coder, this video will provide you the solid foundation about these topics. So let's start.
So the first question is, what is an variable? Hey guys, a variable is a container in which we store data. Or let's suppose we have a container. You guys can even store items which are not eatable. So here basically I'm just talking about container is like a space where you guys can put some items. So variable is a container, so we can store data in it, like different types of data. Let's suppose here I'm just taking a variable a equals to 8. So 8 is a value which I am storing inside of a. Now a is just a variable name, guys. Here I'm not storing a inside of a. I am storing 8 in memory, and here memory is referring your RAM of computer. So memory, your computer. Okay, that's completely fine. I'm just taking another variable that is name equals to and training basket. Now I'm just printing it, print name. Let's check what output is coming. It's giving training basket. Now guys, maybe you all are thinking, okay, let's completely fine. But I can also print like print and then training basket. Yes, it's correct. But you guys are not storing this training basket in a variable. Now, what is the problem? Let's suppose if you guys have b equals to 6. Now, you guys may be thinking, okay, you have taken 6 in a string. I'll tell you what a string is. Let's suppose it is a text. Okay. And if I'll add this print name plus b. Okay, so it will give you a training basket 6. It is giving training basket 6. Now, let's suppose you have not used b equals to 6 or name equals to training basket. So then that particular case, here I have to write training basket. Again, it will give the same answer. But the problem is it is not storing training basket anywhere. It is directly printing it to the console. So variable is like a container where we store data, where we store values, different values, and you guys can use your variable anywhere in your program. This is the benefit of it. So basically, let's suppose if you guys want to use here your variable name here, so I can use it. I am printing name, and let me just remove this one. And also let me just comment these 3 lines. Name equals to training basket, otherwise it will not print. See guys, I can use name anywhere in my program. So this is the benefit of variable. Okay, in starting I was talking about we can store different values, different data inside a variable. So what are these data types? We have to study these also. So now, first one is integer, your type of data. See, integer basically means here I'm just talking about numerical values. All the values from minus infinity plus infinity comes under integer except decimal values. It means, let's suppose I am just taking x equals to 10. So I cannot take 10.5. It is decimal value. Here I'm just talking about all the values from minus infinity to plus infinity except decimal values. Here I am not talking about decimal values. So we should write 10 instead of 10.5. It is an integer. So if I'll print this, it will give me the answer x. So it will give me 10. It is giving 10. Now, the point is, now maybe you guys are thinking, okay, that's completely fine. If we are talking about numerical values and those values are not decimal values, it means we are talking about integer. Yes, it's correct. Now, the second data type that we store inside a variable is complex. Now, what is complex, guys? Okay, let me just take an example of it. See, here we just talk about 5 uh, plus 8j. So this is your complex number. Complex number basically means this is your real value and this is your imaginary value. Okay, so let's suppose we are defining complex number. For that, I'm just taking a equals to complex 10 5, and I am printing a. See, it is giving 10 plus 5j. This 10 is your real value and this 5j is your imaginary value. If you guys don't know what real value is and what imaginary value is, I'll explain you in a different video. Right now, just focus on how many different data types we have, and we can store all those data in variable. Okay, that's completely fine. So now let's jump into float. What is float? See, here we also talk about numerical values, but here we are just talking about all the values from minus infinity to plus infinity, including decimal values. Here we are not talking about like 10, 5. It means if I'm just saying z equals to 5, it's an integer. Here we are not talking about float, but I am writing 5.0, 5.5. And let's suppose we have c equals to 2.0. It's a float value. If I'm just talking about 2, it's an integer value. So let's print a z and I'll get 5.5. I am getting 5.5. And if you guys want to check the type of it, like what data type it is, so you guys can write a print type of c. It will give you the answer, and you can also check the type of complex data. So print a type of a. See, it is giving class complex, and right now we are getting float. For this z and for this a, we are getting complex. Okay. Now the point is, what is a string? Now, guys, if we are talking about a string data type, it means we are talking about text. We are talking about characters. So, guys, inside a Python, everything inside Python, inside a single or double quote is a string. It means if I'm talking about uh, name equals to a training basket. Okay. Or if I'm just talking about b equals to 5. So here I'm just talking about string because everything inside a single quote or double quote in Python is string. Here I can also use double quotes. So it is string value, it is text. If I have to declare integer, so I have to write like 6 equals to 78. It is integer. Now let's suppose we have declared name equals to training basket and b equals to 78. So you guys can add these two values like uh, name plus b. If you guys want to print all these values like print name, you guys can do it, and print b. Let me just make above code comment. Okay, perfect. Now Python will not read above statements. Now, here I am getting a training basket 78 and training basket 78. So now how it is happening? See guys, inside Python, you guys can add two integers You guys can add integer and float. You guys can add string and string. uh, you guys cannot add integer and string. You guys cannot add float and string. So it is not possible. And that's why it is giving an answer, because we are adding two strings. So string and string we can add. It is possible in Python. Now, this is all about string. Now let's jump into Boolean values. See guys, Boolean values basically means we are just talking about true and false. X equals to true and Y equals to false. So these are just like yes and no. True basically means you are just saying yes, and false basically means no. So these are just like yes and no, true and false. So if I'll print X, it will give me true. If I'll print a Y, it will give me false. If I'll print a type of X, it will give me Boolean. See, it is saying true, false, and then classes Boolean. So why it is saying class is Boolean? Because this is the object of class Boolean. That's why it is saying class Boolean. Now, we have talked about different types of data that we store inside a variable. Let's also take a glimpse of how to take input from user. So let's suppose I am just creating a variable age, and here I'm just writing input. So it will take an input from user. So let me just print age. Okay. Let's write enter your age. It is asking for age. So let's write 34. It is giving 34. Now, but if you guys will check the type of it, it will give you integer, not integer, string. Let's check. It is giving a string, because by default, guys, the values that user input, a Python interpreter takes that value in the form of a string. So if I'll let's suppose if I'll write name equals input, enter your name. So it will take this name as a string. Here you guys can print this name, and you guys can also check the type of it. It will give you a string. Now the question is, okay, but here I'm just talking about age and it is giving a string. So this is the problem. So how we can solve it? See, for solving this problem, we have functions like we have int, we have string, and we have float. So what these functions do? These functions will convert your value into integer, string, and float. Let's suppose I want to convert this age into integer. So I have to just use int. That's it. Now if I'll run this code, let's suppose I'm writing 45, it is giving int. And if you guys will use a float here, so it will give you float. It is giving float. And if you guys will use a string or str, it will give you a string. And by default, it is taking that age in the form of a string. It is giving a string. So guys, like this, we take input from user. So this is all about a variable and types of data types. So guys, this is all about variable and data types. I hope you like this video. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe this video.